Land ownership is really an index of current and past political power. Similarly, those people who don't own land today are the ones who have been socially marginalized over the generations and over the ages.
Equitable access and ownership of land and tenure security, be it for agriculture purposes or residential purposes, is a very important aspect of rights-based development.
Property ownership is hardly a secure transaction in most areas of Pakistan, not only in Kachi Abadis but also in rural areas, which means that you rarely own the title of the land on which you live, and your ownership is really derived from other things like your ownership of agricultural land. This kind of phenomenon of residential insecurity, it means that all other things that people do, their access to citizenship rights, their access to social protection programs, their access to even enfranchisement, political voice, all of those things, their access to the labor market, all of those things are affected by something as basic as residential security.
We have no land. It is a tyranny. If we had our own land, we would work there. Our children would work there. Landlords' people and other powerful people would not make our life miserable.
Land is a huge security for women. From households to their livelihood, it is central to their security. If they work for someone else's lands, then they usually end up as bonded labourers. They do not get their rightful share of harvest or wages for their labour. Therefore, if they had their own land, they would cultivate it and receive a return on their income to improve their living conditions.
If we had our own land, it would give us heaps of profit, of course. We would eat half of the harvest and sell the other half. We would also avoid the landowner's daily violence. Everyone is eager to take extra and better care of their own land because that can lead to greener land and more profit. The effort that I put on my own land is because it is my own, and the fact that all my extra efforts will pay off for myself alone.
Women are facing numerous barriers in attaining their rightful land entitlement under the Government of Sindh Land Distribution Programme. These women have to go through many steps to get the legal documents. The whole process at times takes nearly a year. The most worrying aspect is the fact that anyone can stand up and legally appeal against the allotment of land to these women. The women whose land comes under appeal have to go through a lot of hardships, appearing in District Revenue Court. They are illiterate and do not have any understanding of legal processes. There have been cases where the women land grantee was absent and the court passed a decision in favour of the landlord who had appealed against her land ownership.
We received land in the open Kachari under the Sindh Government Land Distribution Programme. However, Hussein, the local landlord, and his people have occupied our land. They are not letting us cultivate the land. We are poor people. We have to hire a lawyer. How should we arrange for the lawyer's fees? We have no money to even purchase flour for ourselves. We are fighting the case. Oxfam GB and PDI has supported us a lot. They have given us goats to drink milk from. They are fighting our case in the court. We would be happy if we receive ownership of the land. We would cultivate crops like wheat. The crops would certainly give us benefit and improve our livelihood. The whole family would work on the land. We would repay our loans and would be free. Our life would be happy. My children, my handicapped husband and I would really be happy.
We have observed that when women own land, not only do they have more voice and empowerment, but also their households' attitudes change towards them. For example, if they were facing violence before, they would not be facing it now.
Previously, I didn't have any social status and was thought of as nothing within my family and to my husband. It makes me really happy that now I have a status and recognition of my capabilities. It is only due to this land that today I have come out. I'm walking around my lands and talking to you all. We intend to harvest more crops on this land, perhaps different ones than the present, but we really need help for the future. It was our first sowing on the land after receiving support from Oxfam GB and PDI. We would like the same for our second phase of harvest to achieve more profit and provide food for our children.
Numerous studies have shown that in areas of high concentration of land inequality, poverty is more prevalent and at a higher level than in areas where there is less. That's the reason why Oxfam GB, its partners and allies are committed to working on the issue of land rights. We are committed to working for the promotion of equitable access and ownership of land and tenure security because it's directly linked to people's identity and their security. It's linked to people not living in fear every day that they're going to be evicted from their land. It's about social inclusion, people being able to assert their identity. Most importantly, it's about the poor being able to harness economic opportunities. It's about the poor being able to raise their political voice and exercise their political choices.
Unless we take this issue seriously, the issue of reforming how land is owned, how it is used, and who has rights over it, we will be stuck in the same pattern that our society has lived through over the last hundreds of years. The same patterns of privileges and the same patterns of deprivation. And I think that slow changes that have taken place over the last few decades are just not good enough. I think that we really need to move forward and we really need to create a situation where most people, all people in fact, enjoy equal citizenship rights, and those cannot really be guaranteed unless one of the foundational aspects of the state, which is how land is administered, how land is owned, and how land use, its rights are mediated, how that changes.
Give us our own land. We are poor. We would cultivate the land. We would cultivate cotton and wheat. We would have our own wheat to feed ourselves and our children. We would make our house at one place. We would become landlords ourselves.